Mike Moore Media, the first place to hear Rockingham County news and information.
Our program is sponsored by Carpino Investments. On the media line, Jeff Garstka, Economic Development Director for the City of Reidsville. Hey, Jeff, and Happy New Year.
Hey, Happy New Year to you, Mike.
Always off to a good start, I know, in the new year in the City of Reidsville. Bring us up to date on the Depot District. We've talked about that before, but it's all coming together nicely, you tell me.
It is, yeah. And so you're right. We've kind of touched on it a little bit when we talk about our downtown development and some of the other interesting things. But you know, we've hired a design firm back in the fall to do put together a good team of professionals and other sub-consultants to basically just look at the area, study it from a physical land use standpoint, looking at what the main, you know, if you were to call it Main Street, which street should be Main Street. A lot of really interesting initial design concepts that they sort of came with. When we interviewed 5 different firms, this group, they're called Design Workshop out of Colorado. They have local offices here in North Carolina, but they were very bold. They started their presentation with 10 ideas for the Depot District, and you know, some of it was really out of the box. It was risky for them to tell us what their 10 ideas were before we even hired them, but it really it helped set the tone for what the vision could be that we hadn't even realized yet. You know, some really interesting things. There's a big ravine area back there. You've probably driven by it before. It's just a giant hole in the ground with kudzu, and you can't use it for anything. And they said, well, what if we created like a zip line park, an adventure park? And I just thought, wow, you know, who would have ever thought of that? So we were really impressed with their creativity, and they are really, at this point, after doing some, you know, a lot of research and things, now really starting to put pen to paper and looking at how we do pedestrian connectivity with downtown, parking, you know, highest and best use of the existing structures over there.
Yeah. Isn't it exciting? You look at projects and see them here, and then we get somebody else involved and different eyes on the project, and it brings a whole new perspective, doesn't it?
It does. It absolutely does. You know, like I said, we sort of, the city staff kind of created this entire concept of something we wanted to pursue, but then you bring in professionals who do this kind of stuff. You know, one of the reasons we like them a lot is they had done they've done a couple projects in downtown Wilkesboro, and I was the economic development director there for about 4 years back in 2010 to 14. So I was real familiar with the downtown, familiar with some of the projects they did, a little outdoor, kind of like a market square type venue, some other, you know, public park type gathering places, and they've got some folks doing upper story residential projects down there now. And I called the town manager and I said, you know what, tell me about working with these guys, and he was just could not give us more of a glowing recommendation. Said you're going to love working with them, and so we know we picked the right firm to do the study, and you know, like you said, just a third-party outside view of the area and the idea. You know, they've been able to put us one-on-one with some developers and some real estate folks that have validated that our idea is a good one, and so we're real pleased with that. We actually had one person that I've known for a long time said, "You guys can't afford not to do this. This opportunity is there. If you don't do it, you've really missed an opportunity."
Yeah. All righty. Sounds like everybody's on board. How's it looking for that kudzu zip vine?
You know, I don't know. It was one of those real out of the box concepts. But they've looked at other things like, you know, a BMX track, a little skateboard park, you know, just different things like that would bring families to the area, you know, outside visitors, and obviously always conscious of what can we provide our citizens as far as amenities and entertainment, and that's, you know, those are the other kind of things that when people are looking for a place to move, you know, they don't move somewhere where there's nothing to do. So we're trying to create the more of the what's there to do in Reidsville. And, we've seen, as I know you've talked with Judy Yarbrough before about our residential recruitment, and we've had several hundred, over 300 new families move to Reidsville in a very short amount of time, last year or two.
Yeah.
And, we just need to keep offering good amenities, and, things like the depot will be a part of that. We'll have, apartments and condos, and, restaurants will certainly follow, maybe another microbrewery, those types of things, that office space, maybe some co-working space, just a lot of different mixed-use ideas. But you look at a project like the Reidsville Showcase Theater that's coming, there's going to be a need for more places to eat dinner. There's going to be a need for a wine bar and those kind of things. And that area just lends itself to just cool, I kind of call it an eclectic neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
I just that's my vision for it, and I think everybody that's been involved in it shares that same vision. We've had some public forums, we've had some developer meetings, we've had a meeting with the Downtown Corporation Board, and kind of did these little Wordle exercises where you type in, 5 words that you think describe it, and the opportunities and challenges. And it's funny, everybody kind of typed in the same thing independently. So that's pleasing to me, because it validates what we think the vision should be.
Yeah, on the same page, so to speak. For those that may not know, what is the depot? Where is that? And a little history on that, Jeff.
Yeah, so if you go across the tracks, basically if you're on, let's say, Moorhead Street, and you go across the railroad tracks, and you cross over Martin Luther King and Market Street, and you kind of get into where the old National Guard Armory is, former Adams Electric Company headquarters building, the old Reidsville Grocery building, all those old historic, former industry and tobacco warehouse. These are buildings that were built in the late 1800s, in some cases, early 1900s, and they just have such historic value, such character. The interiors, while they all need some work, are just stunningly beautiful, with big timber beams holding the thing together, and brick and wood floors, and just all the kind of stuff that, the creative type space that these developers, you see a lot of old mill redevelopment going on in different communities, and that's kind of the concept. So we've drawn kind of a boundary map that encompasses a fairly big area. Really, it's from the old Lawsonville School to about where the Armory, the former Armory is, and just trying to create a good concept.
Yeah, that old Armory building is, I've never been in it, but it's beautiful on the outside. So that's a part of this whole project too.
It is actually, the company that is moving in there, Elevated Environmental Corporation. They do construction, demolition, asbestos remediation for big industry and schools and things like that. They bought that building. It's been at least 3 years ago now. I asked them why that location, and of course they got a good value on the building, but basically they said, well, we see this area as something that could be really energized, and we wanted to be the first one in. We wanted to be a part of it.
Wow!
And that blew me away, because I didn't tell them to say that. Mm-hmm. I hadn't even really pondered that was why they chose it. So city staff kind of took the concept, and that's really where the history started. And we got in, looking into the real physical nuts and bolts of it, as far as what are the parking requirements going to be in this new zoning district? What kind of building setback requirements? What kind of landscaping buffers are we going to put in there as an ordinance? And that's where we really, even with the expertise we have on staff, that's where we hit a wall and said, well, we don't really know. It's just such a different animal, and it's different than downtown and anything else we have. Mm-hmm. And so that's part of this study, will be to help us create those the rules.
Well, it's exciting to have a vision and see it all come together. So where are we in all of this, Jeff? How far away, and what's the next step?
Well, we're going to let them finish up their study. I will plug to your audience The evening at 6 p.m. on February the 4th, we're going to host another virtual kind of town meeting. We sent letters out to all the property owners in the area and adjacent property owners. We had one meeting back in, I guess it was late December, and we'd love to see more participation from folks who live in that area, work in that area, own businesses, and really get their feedback and, hopefully their buy-in. We had, just a handful of folks at the first one, and, we'd definitely love to have a bigger crowd. So it's going to be hosted via Zoom. People can call or email me if they're interested in attending. Again, it'll be February the 4th at 6 p.m., led by our design team. And it's one of the things that they stressed as very important was getting the community involved and getting their feedback and ideas and challenges. And, it's kind of one of those things, not everybody's going to buy into the concept. They might feel threatened that their property is going to be gobbled up by the city or, what have you, which really isn't the case. But, what they said was in their interview, as long as you offer people the opportunity to speak to it, then you've done your job there.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah.
We need more participation, and once that's done, I would expect probably into the first quarter we'll have a nice plan delivered, and it'll be in a format that we can use as the roadmap, but also as a marketing package to developers to say, here's our concept, here's what we think it's going to look like, and here's the available real estate that we have.
Wonderful. Okay, well, I put that down, Thursday, February 4th, 6 p.m. at virtual town meeting, asking for the public's input on the Depot district, the project. That's exciting. Well, Jeff, always good to talk to you because you always give us such good news, and I appreciate that.
Well, I try. And, I'll just mention one of the things, my benefactor sponsor of this show, Michael Carpino, he acquired a building over there, and he's planning some apartments and condos and retail and restaurant space. And while he's very eager to get started on it, he attended the town meeting that we had, and after he heard the vision for the whole district, he said, wow, I need to step back and work with your team and make sure that what I'm developing fits into the future concept, not just what I think it needs to be as an isolated project. And I thought that was very astute, and we enjoy working with him and are excited about him, not just his project, but being a part of the overall development vision. And you mentioned he won an award in Eden. Maybe he'll be our award winner if he keeps going here. So.
I bet he will. Yeah. Well, I appreciate the update always. Thank you, Jeff. Have a wonderful 2021, and we'll talk again next month.
Sounds good. I look forward to it.
Okay, same here. Jeff Garstka is Director of Economic Development for the city of Reidsville. And he was just talking about Michael Carpino. Yes, congratulations to him. He received the City of Eden Business of the Year and Beautification Awards yesterday at the Eden Chamber of Commerce annual awards presentation. So congratulations to Michael Carpino. Carpino Investments, a leader of community redevelopment in the Carolina Piedmont region, very involved in what's happening. Several county projects there in Reidsville, as Jeff was just mentioning, and in Eden as well. You can find out more about him at carpinoinvestments.com. And you can get more information about the good things we're always hearing from Jeff Garstka at rocketinreidsville.com.